All right, so our final keynote of the morning is up next. It's someone you met very briefly as well this morning, Kalman Tiboldi. Kalman is the Chief Business Innovation Officer for TVH Group. TVH Group is a global leader in industrial vehicle parts and equipment, headquartered in Belgium, as Yogesh noted. In his role at TVH, Kalman drove a sweeping digital transformation, merging IT and business into a single organization focused on innovation. At TVH, Kalman championed and implemented a cloud services-based architecture and drove innovations working with big data and IoT. Kalman has deployed Progress OpenEdge throughout the TVH organization, and today he also uses Corticon, Kendo UI, as well as NativeScript. Kalman was recently promoted into an exciting new role and is now responsible for starting a new digital business focused on predictive maintenance within TVH, which he's building out based on Progress's data RPM technology. Always on the cutting edge, it is my distinct pleasure to welcome back Kalman Tiboldi.
Oh, thank you. So maybe very shortly, I would like to introduce or to tell a little bit more about my company. TVH, as you mentioned, located in Belgium, mainly operate with two major business units. One is TVH Parts, where we are the largest distributor of spare parts and related services worldwide for material handling, for industrial equipment, and agricultural equipment as well. So there are some figures. We have, just to give you an idea, more than 34 million spare parts that we can recognize, and nearly 92% of the daily activity goes through our internet platform. So really the digital is there for the very first moment. The second is TVH Equipment, where we own one of the largest rental fleet of those equipments, and we are offering services. So what we are facing, what we are seeing, and probably not just we, other TVH, probably your companies are doing that, why we are considering why it's important to really look at digital technology, to really consider digital transformation. Certainly, what is going on, I would like to start with the fourth industrial revolutions, which is fueled by a couple of major technologies like mobile cloud that you are very used with. But in the meantime, more and more, everything related to big data, virtual and augmented reality, IoT, artificial intelligence, 3D printing, blockchain, all those technologies are today there, are present. You can integrate, you can use, and you do something. And certainly all those technologies are impacting our companies or impacting our way how we are working, and in some cases really disrupting industries, disrupting companies, and not just companies, definitely our society and our personal life. And what we are seeing, where the fourth industrial revolution, initially it was defined just for the manufacturing, today is extended to smart mobility, grids, products of manufacturing, buildings, cities, and certainly smart logistics where we are operating. So what does it mean? Actually, it means that more and more technology is built, is moving, digital technology is moving inside of the product and services. So making those products and services smart products and smart services, it means that sensing technology, processing and storage, and communication technology, allowing all those products actually to generate data. And this is all about how you can capture, how you can analyze, and how can get value out of this data. And if we are looking to this new digital landscape, new digital world, certainly as IoT is one of the elements, as I mentioned, it's all about this tremendous volume of machine or equipment or process or whatever generated data, which you have to figure out how to use it, how to capture, and really to how to put in your different domains and different activities accordingly to your company's values. So I got the chance early this year to attend the Smart Manufacturing conference in Munich in Germany, and having a lot of major OEMs, manufacturing players on the table, and the question was raised, which is the biggest influencer of your digital transformation? And as you cannot see, for definitely, they're stating yes, data. To figure out how we can use the data which we have in our equipment, what we have in our processes, or we have just ignoring how we can do that. So definitely you will see that data is considered for many companies and probably for you as well as a new oil of the 21st century. So actually what we are seeing that this digital transformation, this fourth industrial revolution, is actually blurring the boundaries between the physical and the cyber, digital, and as we have seen at previous presentation, biological world. So we are merging these three domains in one single where the digital products are built, are born, and getting a life cycle like a normal physical product. So this is what we are seeing and trying to build, and this is influencing also how to look to the services, because not just in our industry, probably in many other industries, we are seeing this shifting from the product-centric to the service-centric industry, where the product is no more presented and sold like a product, but is making part of the global service. Let's just give an example. One of the components that we are considering is that instead of selling lift trucks, selling those equipment, we are offering lifting capacity, so the result of the product. It means that actually this shift we are facing because this is what customers are expecting from our side. And this is a really bold statement coming from Jeff Immelt, the CEO of General Electric. If you went to bed last night as an industrial company, you are going to wake up this morning as a software and analytics company. So this is really one of the expression of what we are facing, like traditional companies used to build traditional products. We are suddenly, due to this transformation, we are turning to consider actually to be a software and a data analytics company. So this is the reason why TVH last year decided to build this new company around what we are calling machine-generated data, really to build this new way of digital business model, platform business, in order to offer extended services to existing customers, but going beyond. Let's see what we have to consider and how to consider actually to get and to be successful in this new digital world. So definitely, if the data is the new oil of the 21st century, analytics is the combustion engine, where the value is coming, where the information actually is transformed in value. So definitely you can start, and probably a lot of existing companies is heavily focused in what we are calling BI reporting, answering the question, what is happening? What was yesterday? And it's good. You have to answer that. But it's important to really be able to answer the question, why it's happening. Certainly going to the diagnostic, going to self-service analytics. And maybe the most important evolution would be where you are moving to be able to answer what will happen, to be predictive in your industry, your company. And finally, what I have to do in order to act efficient way in what will happen. So these two sides, predictive and prescriptive, were really what we are seeing, the machine learning and all other cognitive components are showing up and generate value. And one of the, maybe the most amazing and important evolution that we are facing is this concept of digital twin. So as I mentioned, the digital and the physical worlds are moving together. And this is the landscape where the digital twins, which are actually the exact representation of a physical product in the real life, in the production, actually are constructed. All major companies, all major OEMs are building a digital equivalent of their products. So what does it mean? It means that we can start thinking about not just servicing or doing something with a physical product, but we can do a lot of interesting things with a digital equivalent, monitoring or certain diagnosis, and there is where we are considering the new model that we are building. Really, we are trying to build such digital twins together with the OEMs. Another element, what we are also seeing, that we cannot do that just in our own. The whole system, which is actually built and running around the data is flowing from one side to the other side, is this new ecosystem where the different components, where the different players, starting from a manufacturer, but also the customer, is linked in a collaborative way, and certainly getting value out of this ecosystem where we are also contributing. And this ecosystem is changing the view because the product, due to this digital product equivalent, is keep to be linked for the whole life cycle with the customer. And this is really transforming the whole customer experience because you can continuously improve some of the services in your products due to this ecosystem. And this is why we have considered one of the major elements where we are seeing value, we are seeing a big business, is the predictive maintenance. So what does it mean, actually? The predictive maintenance is that you can predictively analyze and define what will happen with your equipment. Certainly, the predictive maintenance is not just our industry, it's everything. So predictive is from the healthcare onto the buildings and whatever. Actually, you can apply the same model today. So you have the corrective maintenance. It means your equipment or whatever is done. So at that moment, certainly it's important to what is the reality to send the right solution with the right guy is already helping you because we are still facing the so-called two-step maintenance. It means that you are sending somebody there. He's trying to connect and analyze and saying, yes, I see that, but I'm not the right guy or I don't have the right solution for that. And then you can certainly already reduce the two-step to one-step maintenance. The preventive is statistical. It means that somebody is telling you that after, let you say, 10,000 miles or whatever, you have to change your air filter or fuel filter. But let's imagine that you have just going to the Sahara. Probably you have not waiting to change your air filter to the next 10,000 miles. So you have really to consider accordingly to the reality what is in, and this is all about predictive. So what we are trying to build, what we are trying to provide, actually, there are different solutions that we are trying. One of related to what we are calling equipment inspection for the rental business. What does it mean, actually? It means that equipment are leaving to rental and coming back. And certainly you have to compare the state of the equipment before leaving and after coming back. And this is time-consuming so far. So we have introduced this methodology, taking the drone, which is flying around the equipment, taking pictures. And the picture is actually compared, analyzed by machine learning, and trying to put a category of damage in that. Certainly, it looks very nice. Reality is very hard to realize. So honestly, we are not there. We are just building because there are a lot of important elements to consider. So this picture recognition is not so easy as it's presented for humans. All of us, we are the same shape face. In reality, the machines are all different. It's quite complex, but we are building, and we strongly believe that it will be the case. Another element is important. So we are really building an IoT platform with the different elements in IoT. So by the way, this is quite generic architecture, can be considered in doesn't matter which other use case. So you have the endpoints where the sensing technology operate. You have the edge where you can actually collect, aggregate, and do a lot of analysis of the data. Edge analytics is important. Components already you can build application for the service engineers, mobile, using those technologies. And then you have the platform where the data is flowing on, where analytics happens, where time series, and all these elements are. And then finally, you have the applications where really the value is coming out. And what is important to consider that analytics in this real time, of nearly real time, you have to consider both. So you have to consider not just that you are collecting everything in a single repository and you are running batch analytics and you are having some result. So important to consider that actually IoT is introducing the streaming analytics real time, where you have to apply those models that really you would like to take actions at the edge as close as possible. So what we are seeing is that more and more edge analytics is moving and computing moving closer and closer to the place where things are actually happening. Industrial is the same. We are seeing that edge data centers are moving close to the industrial plants and doing the job. So this is important consideration that you have to combine both technologies, both architecture, and certainly combine it with an event-based system. And what does it mean? So we have the two, we have the signals, the data, and then we are trying to correlate with the real event. So data is analyzed by data engineers, data scientists. The events, you have to consider the service engineers who understanding the phenomenon, they can actually help you to define. The raw data is coming out from the machines, it's locally transformed in readable, interpreted, and tagged data. Some of the elements are already analyzed in real time. After that, flowing in a system where the analytics actually is ongoing and where there's a very important component, the predictive modeling happens. So here you are collecting everything and certainly building the predictive model, where the predictive model is deployed to the edge, and this is an ongoing process, and you are continuously improving, actually, and finally ingesting the whole result in your operational model. So very shortly, examples. What does it mean, a smart lift truck? For us, it means that a lot of technologies already exist, and what we are trying to do, as I mentioned, to capture the data produced by those different elements. So there are different controllers, probably you know this is the canvas technology, which is broadcasting actually out of this data, so you can connect and collect and process this data and use it. Certainly, this is what we are calling IoT-enabled fleet management, where you can combine different elements, so improve your operational efficiency or asset tracking, security, safety, technical scheduling. So actually, we are building this whole landscape of solutions in our platform. But as I mentioned, the most important being the condition-based predictive maintenance, where really based on the models, we can detect what will happen. Just to give you one example is we are building the battery monitoring, not just in automotive, in our industry. It happens the same. More and more equipment is actually electrical equipment. More than 65% of the existing systems are electric powered. So it's very important for us to really to follow, to monitor, and to analyze what is going on in the battery, how the different parameters are considered, combined, and there is where actually we are partnering with Data RPM to build these predictive and analytical models in order to extend the life cycle of the battery, to define actually what will happen and how it will going on. So why we are doing that? This is coming from Gartner. By 2022, IoT will save consumers and businesses 1 trillion a year in a maintenance, services, and consumable. Definitely is not just for our industry. The automotive, where we are considering ourselves to operate, is the 3rd place. The 1st place being the small buildings, garages, manufacturing, and certainly the 3rd part. So you can see this is quite impressive. What does it mean in maintenance? It's why to consider and probably interesting for your business as well. And what's next? What next? It means for us a lot of interesting what next, because we are seeing that technology real pushing is very difficult to say what will be in 10 years from now, but we are trying to build consequent, what we are calling the next generation of service engineering, where the different cognitive components, all those are coming together, augmented reality, language processing, chatbots, and name it, all those. But the most important is the artificial intelligence. So this combination of the human and artificial intelligence, where we are considering that actually service engineering is stepping away from a very highly specialized service engineer that probably you are facing if you have a problem, or expecting that this specialized service engineer is showing up to solve the problem. We consider that we are moving more and more this generic service engineering, where computers, where augmented reality, where artificial intelligence helping people to do the job actually in a combined and human and computer-based system. I guess it's nearly on time.